Hey everyone, welcome to Fighting Over the Card Catalog, a snarky look back on young adult novels of the 80s and 90s. I'm Jess.
And I'm Steven, and I'm here to make my wife happy.
We're taking a journey to find out how many terrible and hopefully some not so terrible books from my youth I can get my husband to read before he reconsiders this whole marriage. Hi.
Hello.
I can't wait to get into this with you.
So this is the Babysitter's Club number 2. Does it have some other? Okay, yeah. Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls. Christy, Claudia, Mary Ann, and Stacy have had some strange adventures since they started the Babysitter's Club. But nothing's been as spooky as what's going on right now. The babysitters have been getting mysterious phone calls when they're out on their jobs. When a phone rings and they pick up, there's no one on the other end of the line. Claudia is sure it's the Phantom Caller, a jewel thief who's been operating in the area. Claudia has always liked reading mysteries, but she doesn't like it when they happen to her. So she and the babysitters decide to take action, with some very mixed results.
Okay, wait, before you put it down, take a look at that cover.
Yeah, see that cover.
Fun fact, that little girl is Kirsten Dunst. That was one of her first jobs.
Really?
When she was 4.
Okay.
Weird, huh?
Yep, weird.
So, give me your rating of this book from the scale of 1 being your best number 1 book ever to the Dementor's Kiss of the last Babysitter's Club book.
I would have to give this one probably an 8. 7 to 8.
Okay, so better than the first one?
Better than the first one, yes.
Told you it would be. What if you had been reading it when you were 8?
When I was 8? Yeah, that probably would have been... It would have probably been good, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what I would have rated it, but...
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 7 now. But back then, yeah, this was a really good one. This was probably like 3.
Did it give you chills?
No, because it's not that scary. But I did like it. I like the spookiness. It starts off well, all creepy, rain.
Nice.
Good segue. Yes, so we start out. So Claudia would rather be working on her painting or reading Nancy Drew books, but she's got to work on her homework with Mimi on this dark and stormy night.
Yeah, so one reason I think this book starts off better is it is from Claudia's point of view and not from bitchy little
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's true of all Claudia books, really. Claudia's awesome. You know who's not awesome? Her parents, who don't think she should be reading Nancy Drew. This has always bugged the shit out of me. Your daughter is interested in some form of reading.
Yeah.
And they think, because it's not highbrow enough, they shouldn't be reading it, and she shouldn't be reading it, and she has to hide them away, like her illicit candy stash.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What is that?
That's craziness.
I hate it. But anyway, she's doing her homework like a good girl with Mimi. Fashion alert! So, is this dope or nope? Purple pants that stop just below my knees and are held up with suspenders, white tights with clocks on them, a purple plaid shirt with a matching hat, my high-top sneakers, and lobster earrings. Dope or nope?
Nope.
No?
Just because of the lobster earrings.
Really?
Come on.
Not the clocks on the tights?
Well, and the clocks.
No, I think those are awesome. I need to know the color of the high top. If she's mixing the red with the purple again.
Why are you going to cosplay this?
My dude, I totally would. If we can find me some tights with clocks on them, I totally would. A purple plaid shirt with a matching hat? Yes? But yeah, so I'm hoping they're like black or purple high top Converse. That sounds great.
I guess you can just do whatever color you want.
I could, because can you left that open for interpretation, which is great.
Although maybe you can look at some of the book covers and see what color high top she has. Maybe that.
She has a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine that she has black Converse. So anyway, she's working on a portrait of Mimi. Mimi sits for a while and they have a nice little time. Then she starts fantasizing about Trevor Sanborn. He's this poet guy in her grade. But in my head, he has always looked like a really tall 25-year-old dude with like an almost fro and wearing green turtleneck, usually. That's not how he's described in the book at all, but that's what I always had. And so I realized when I was thinking about it that in my head he looks like two of the guys from Welcome Back, Kotter. And I put them together because John Travolta wore the turtleneck.
Okay.
And then Epstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I got, and I'll put it up on our Instagram. Whatever.
Okay.
Yep. That's what Trevor Sanborn looks like in my head, and always has.
Okay.
Because that was sick. All right. So the club decides to hang out without having a meeting. Like super weird, apparently. But there's nothing to do aside from Claudia swooning about Trevor and everybody trashing this annoying kid called Alan Gray. Marianne's reading the newspaper and she just suddenly freaks the hell out. She reads a story on the phantom phone caller who repeatedly calls the house without saying anything to see if anybody's home before he robs them. And the last place he hit was one town away from Stony Brook. Claudia remembers that her last sitting job, she had 2 hang-ups. Christy calls for an emergency meeting right now. Y'all thought you were going to get out of a meeting. Very serious.
It's not only that she is so serious, but then it's like everybody else is so serious. Oh yeah, we need to have a meeting.
I mean, to be fair though, when you're 12, if something big's going down, if it feels big, it's just more serious. I probably would have taken it that serious. I really appreciated the 2 other headlines that Marianne told us about.
Oh yeah,
Angry pig goes hog wild, and depressed trucker drives self crazy. Clickbait. Oh, okay. So they're all stressed out, so stressed out at their emergency meeting that Claudia doesn't even feel bad for Stacy for not getting any chocolate. Rude.
Right.
The girls discuss what they should do if they ever had to deal with a break-in of any kind, and they come up with this convoluted ass series of code words involving red ribbons or blue ribbons. You have to call another babysitter and say, "Hey, have you seen my red ribbon?" And they'll say, "Are you in trouble?" And if it's yes, you say something. I forget it all.
No, it's the blue ribbon.
No, it's the blue ribbon. If it's something, and yeah, it's ridiculous. And then they come up with whack burglar alarm ideas, like putting whole bunches of pots and pans in front of the door, as long as you clean them up before the parents get home. But you don't know when they're coming home. You know they'll be home by 10 or whatever, but they could get home at 9:34 and you haven't put them away yet. So they also decide that they should be taking the record book to school every day so everyone will know where the others are sitting. How bad are their memories? They're with this book 3 days a week. They could just look it up, but no. Christy, as president, will take responsibility. So if anything happens to it, it'll be her fault.
See, I thought this was going to be a bad idea because they have comments about people's kids in it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no, that's the Notebook.
that's
It's
not
two
the
different
same.
things.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. If that ever got out, that would be terrible. I don't think it ever does. Oh, and they also agree not to tell their parents about anything so they won't worry. We get a halfway dope or nope here. We don't really get a full outfit description, but Claudia tells us that she straightened her bow tie with the little Scotty dogs on it. And today I had fixed my hair in 5 slim braids and looped each one on my head, holding them in place with beaded barrettes that had sparkly streamers attached to them. Dope or nope?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, we're considering this from like late 80s,
Mid 80s. Yeah.
mid 80s. I don't know.
I like the bow tie with the Scotty dog.
Yeah.
She got me there.
Yeah, but you like anything with dogs.
I do. A bow tie's fishing. On a 12-year-old girl? Come on, that's cool. Dope. So apparently it's embarrassing to bring your lunch to school in 7th grade.
Why is that?
I don't know. That's just what Claudia says. Because that Christy and Marianne bring their lunches to school like babies. Well, they get the hot lunch no matter how gross it is. Was it ever uncool for you to take your lunch?
No. No.
How long did you take your lunch?
I mean, I think most of the time I probably didn't.
Yeah?
Because there was no place to put lunches that needed to stay cold, or vice versa. And of course, we couldn't afford those fancy
Insulated lunch boxes?
No, the Lunchables.
Oh.
I don't even know if were the Lunchables even around when I was going.
I don't think so. They seemed new when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah, okay.
And it was a big deal if I got to have one, yeah. But yeah, when I was really young, yeah, just sandwiches, chips.
So that was probably more of one of those things where I got up at the very last minute that you could possibly get up and still make it to school on time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And your mom was too busy to make lunch for you.
Well, I mean, it's according to what age we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because like through high school she worked nights.
Oh, yeah.
So
I took it probably through 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then at my middle school in Minnesota, you could buy soda or pop. I'm sorry, we're in Minnesota. It's pop. So for like most of 7th and 8th grade, I bought either a Mountain Dew or a Dr. Pepper and a Kirby Puckett bar.
For lunch?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I was 12 and I could.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what a Kirby Puckett bar is?
It seems like I've seen something about it recently.
Nuh-uh.
Like it's a chocolate bar or something?
It's a chocolate bar, but it's named after a
baseball player.
Yeah,
right?
a Minnesota Twins player.
Okay.
He ended up going blind. Very sad because he seemed like a very good dude, apparently.
Mm.
But yeah, it was like just like this caramelly, crunchy chocolate thing. That was my lunch. I don't know if I was supposed to buy hot lunch.
Was it the breakfast, the lunch of champions?
It was the lunch of, me being a champion. Yeah, that sounds horrible now.
Now, after having drank a Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew and then eaten a candy bar, did you just absolutely crash in your class after lunch?
No, I don't think so.
Do you remember anything about your...
I don't know what I had after lunch.
Because you were in a coma.
No, I feel like I had drama, so that was fine. Or choir. Yeah. Or, I know for at least some of the time I was in a very special class. It was kind of like gifted and talented, but they didn't call it that. they called it.
The special course.
Yeah, we got out of English one quarter and social studies the next. Go to and do more creative stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So I feel like that was after lunch, so that wasn't boring. So, Claudia learns 2 things at school. Not academically, though. She learns that her friend Dorian's grandparents got robbed the night before, possibly by the phantom phone caller. Because they live in that next town earlier. And Claudia's like really rude, going, whew, good. And secondly, everyone knows about her crush on the 25-year-old Trevor Sanborn, including Alan Gray. Thinks Christy told him. But she didn't. That drama doesn't go on very long, and it's kind of dumb. But the Halloween hop is announced. It's going to be from 4 to 6 in the gym. An afternoon dance sounds lame.
4 to 6.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like...
It is middle school, though.
It is. Yeah, but I went to a ton of dances in middle school, and they were all at night.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're legit. That sounds like some elementary school.
Were they in, like, the
they were in
gym?
The cafeteria.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, gym floor will get screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Cafeteria / we had stage on one. Claudia sits for Jamie Newton. Hi. And Christy shows up and scares the crap out of her because they're all on edge about this phantom phone caller. And, I mean, really a lot of the book is just scaring themselves.
Right.
Pretty much every job, which is perhaps why 12-year-olds shouldn't be babysitting.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Claudia hears on the radio that the police are on the trail of the phantom phone caller. And he's heading towards New Jersey. Yay!
Because everything's legal in New Jersey.
Very good. Except, oh, wait, no, it wasn't him. Boo. Claudia hears that latest news while she's sitting over at the Marshalls, who I assume Kirsten Dunst is supposed to be portraying Nina Marshall on the cover. When the phone rings, nobody's there, and Nina is very adamant about going to bed after the Muppet Show, and I really respect it. Christy sits for Karen and Andrew. In this book, the house got a little bit bigger, and it's practically a mansion.
Yeah.
Not just big enough. So it's moving on up without me.
I can remember what it was like being alone in a big old house.
Yeah?
Or with other people asleep and hearing noises. Yeah.
Especially in that creepy-ass house.
Yeah.
Where you had the babysitter that...
Yeah.
Horror movies.
The one built in 1880.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet that house settled.
It creaked a lot. And there were trees all around it that would hit it when the wind blew. Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty stereotypical horror movie. Creepy movie. Love it. So Karen thinks our favorite next door neighbor, morbid destiny, put a spell on her, giving her freckles. And Christy goes to read Karen a book. Why would her father think it's a good idea to even give her a book named The Witch Next Door?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Watson?
Yeah.
Boy, this is all your fault.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw that. Like, he's trying to scare his daughter.
Yeah. Which, I mean, kind of fun, but she's a little dramatic about it. But Christy reads Karen Ramona instead. Because Christy can be awesome. Ramona's the best. There's some good books name dropped in this one. So after the kids are in bed, Christy gets one of those silent phone calls herself and gets pretty freaked out. And then she gets to start reading The Witch of Blackbird Pond for school. Made me really excited because I read it in 4th grade. And it had a big impact on all those historical imaginings I had in the woods. Because it was, Pilgrim times, and it was in Connecticut. And Kit gets sent to her. She's been growing up in Barbados. and she gets sent to her relatives in Connecticut after her dad died. She's been all rich and shit there.
Hmm.
And then, she meets an old witchy lady, and people think she's a witch. And it's very good. I have it. I recommend it. Anyways, it just made me very excited to see that in there. And so then she actually has to deal with the witch next door because Morbid of Destiny brings Boo Boo back over, as well as a bag containing the remains of the mouse Boo Boo killed and left on her porch. But Christy takes that as proof that she's not actually a witch, because otherwise she would have kept them for her spells otherwise, which seems logical to me.
But, I mean, I'm like, that's one less mouse you have at your house. You should be happy about that.
Right? And isn't it like a sign of here is my gift for you?
Yeah.
Boo Boo loves you, Morbida. Accept Boo Boo's love. Stacy sits for Charlotte Johansson, who was always one of my favorite kids until I saw the TV show, which we'll get to. She's very whiny. But she's an excellent kid in the book. Okay, so she goes over there. She tells us how, you can go around the long way through the streets or whatever. But if you go through the backyard, she's just like 3 houses over. She just traipsed through people's backyards to get there.
Guess so.
What is that?
Yeah.
I never would have done that.
Unless there's like a wooded area or something between. Because she still, even though it's like 3 houses away, it takes her 3 minutes to get there. Versus 10 minutes. But
I always get the impression it's like a neighborhood.
But it wouldn't take you 3 minutes to get through 3 normal size. Or 10 minutes to get around a block for a normal size.
Well, it would me.
What?
But no, not a healthy 13. Well, diabetes-ridden 13-year-old. 12-year-old girl. Anyways, they get scared by a big old storm and a scary movie, but there are no phone calls. Okay. So the Johansons have a sweet schnauzer named Carrot, who apparently they forgot outside in this big old storm, and he ends up coming in the basement through a broken window again, meaning he's done it before.
Right.
Now, I love the Johansons. Typically, they're hella awesome. That's terrible and bordering on dog abuse to me. Thank you. So, Marianne has a sitting job for David Michael. There's so many sitting chapters in this book. She gets all freaked out and sets up 3 different jerry-rigged alarms. One for the garage door, one for the back door, and one for the front door. I would have set up the back door first.
I would have locked the doors.
Yes, because it doesn't seem she did that. You're
Instead of just setting up traps for her.
Yeah. But it includes pots and pans, and marbles, and a tape player.
And a tape recorder?
Yeah. But she plays one of Charlie's tapes.
Right.
Yeah.
With some weird made-up name.
Yeah. But remember, it probably cost $15, not
right.
And then the dog sets it off, and so your thing sucks and picks up the kid. Anyway, she doesn't get any call. Okay. I don't like this. Claudia, I mean, why? They all do it, except for Marianne. Why do they make being quiet sound like just like an awful thing? Like you're just a shell of a person if you're quiet and shy. Because Claudia says she may be quiet and shy, but she does have a good sense of humor and a good imagination.
Right.
Like she can't be possibly anything else other than quiet and shy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How can you explain? It's like you have to try to look at it through the psychology of a 12-year-old, but at the same time, it's a grown woman that's writing the books. So I don't know how to psychologically break that
Yeah,
down.
but I was 6 and I was kind of offended by it. Because I was quiet and shy.
Yeah, I was quiet and shy as well, but I probably also saw myself as a shell of a person.
Whoa. Wow. Way to bring it down. When
So
you were
that would
6?
so that wouldn't have seemed any different to me.
Yikes. Okay, well, I'm glad you didn't read these as a child. So anyways, nothing bad happens. But okay, Marianne starts reading The Secret Garden, which is awesome. But major spoiler alert, Anne. He starts reading when when Mary discovers her hidden away cousin Colin. It's like, bitch, some of these kids probably haven't read Secret Garden yet. Way to give it away. I'm real salty about that. The girls get really snappy at the next meeting with each other. But the seriousness of Trevor not knowing Claudia calms them all down.
Mm.
Apparently, Claudia is still working on memorizing the multiplication table at this point in 7th grade.
Or needs a refresh.
Or needs a refresh. But while she's studying, their neighbors, the Goldmans, come over to let them know that they've probably been robbed. And so the police come over and they say they have been robbed because, I quote, the place is a bit messy upstairs. Maybe that's just who they are as people, officer.
Maybe you're just judging.
God! It appears to be the work of the phantom phone caller, though, because they got one of those calls before.
Now, this is the person who lives next door to somebody?
To Claudia.
Okay, to Claudia, yeah.
Yeah.
So for Claudia, that's really close to home. Like
Literally. Yes. So I'd be getting a little freaked out now, too. But the cops do point out that it could just be a copycat.
Right.
Which makes sense. But, of course, the girls talk about it, and Marianne's a dumbass, the shell of a person, and tells her father. And so he just forbids to let her sit again until the Phantom is caught. Boy, he might never be caught.
Well, not only that, the Phantom caller is not the only bad person in the world.
No. Richard, you're a little jumpy. So, the next day at school, Claudia's getting all desperate for Trevor to ask her to the Halloween date.
Now, there's one thing that Marianne could do.
What can Marianne do?
She could watch the kids at her house. And that's never brought up.
It is never brought up. Christy would probably think that's very unprofessional. But yeah, it would be a good idea. But I don't know. I could see Richard being irritated with kids that aren't his. He might not want to bring them into that den of seriousness and
yeah. Do you
sadness.
think he just like sits in a room all day, like drinking beer and all depressed?
No. I believe, well, because of later books, that he like color coordinates his sock drawer. And don't raise your eyebrows, I do it too. Yeah, he likes to read and clean.
Okay.
But look, we can headcanon a alcoholic Richard in a messy room. Okay, I love it. So anyways, Claudia decides to walk by Trevor's table at lunch to get his attention. And she sure does, because as she goes past him, somebody knocks into her and she spells Jello in Trevor's lap. Way to get his attention. I would die of mortification if that happened. Because it's Jello on some boy's lap.
He knows you're alive now.
That is near his penis, and that is terrifying. So Christy and Claudia both go over to the Newtons to sit because Jamie's hellion cousins are there again, and I'm glad Mrs. Newton learned something from last time. and ask for 2 sitters. So they start to act up, these horrible, terrible children, and then Christy gives this big old whistle and threatens to punch their lights out. Christy. I'm pretty sure later Christy in the series would be totally against this. But damn, have you ever threatened a 4-year-old to punch their lights out?
Oh, of course I have.
Yeah?
I mean, not babysitting.
Your own children?
No. Other people's children.
Oh, to their faces?
No, not when the parents are out. You got to do it behind their back.
Right. To the kid. That's what I mean. To the kid.
I'm going to punch you in your face.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not. Okay. Have I wanted to do that?
Oh, yeah, that's different.
Yes. I've wanted to grab kids by their throat and threaten them, but I have not.
Hey, great job. But that, not the threatening, but the whistling works. And because the older boys really like, Dope, can you teach me? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And it turns out to be nice. So go Christy, I guess. But through the rest of the night, Claudia gets a silent phone call, and Christy does too. But other than that, things go pretty well until dinner. Then they start hearing noises outside, and they see a shadow go across the window. Claudia decides that this is enough and calls police. So they show up, and guess what? They have Alan Gray with them. They caught him outside behind the rhododendron bush. That was a really big word for a 6-year-old. So it turns out he's been stalking Christy, essentially. It was him making the phone calls to her sitting jobs, and he knew all the information from that record book that she brought to school every day. Remember how it was your responsibility, Christy? All on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's victim blaming, but she did say it's her responsibility. Alan wanted to ask Christy to the dance, and so he does, and Christy's surprisingly cool with it and says yes.
Yeah, not even being facetious. She says yes, and it's like, okay, now he's your boyfriend?
No, just a date. So, when the girls are on their way home, the fucking patriarchy comes out. Christy says that she finally realizes that what her mother has been telling her is true. That boys tease you because they like you. This is probably the first place I heard that, but certainly not the last. And
I told my daughter that as well when she would talk about boys that picked on them. And, obviously we tried to teach them that, and especially with Aaron there too, like that's not okay, but it's just something that they are doing, whether it's, conscious or not. If you want attention and you don't get good attention, they're going to try to get bad attention as long as they get your attention.
Did you do it?
Yes. Yeah, I probably did. I can't think of any specific instances. But yeah, I probably did.
I remember one boy chasing me around a lot and pushing me in a puddle and kissing me. And that boy grew up to be an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
No lie.
All right.
I probably shouldn't say it because that's you know where I'm from. You'll figure it out. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here. Love does not equal abuse, and aggression is not an acceptable form of communication. You're blaming and shaming the victim, or it's gaslighting. Like you say something horrible and then say, "Oh, just kidding." That's fucked up. And it's why women stay in abusive relationships, because they've been brought up that way.
Yeah. It's excusing bad behavior.
Exactly.
Either way. And, my brothers used to pick on me, and then my mom would say, "Well, if you just ignored them, they wouldn't do it." It's along those lines.
It is along those lines. The boys will be boys line and stuff too. And it doesn't do the boy any good either, because that's the type of boy that will end up sending dick pics or becoming an incel or a mass shooter.
if you
or not, but it could.
If you don't give me your love, you can't give your love to anybody.
That's right. Yeah, that's fucked up, and that starts in like kindergarten.
Yeah,
and people excuse it, but like, what age is that line drawn? Like, when can you? Like, when would adults say they need to stop doing that? Like, oh, if a boy hits your arm in kindergarten, he's flirting with you.
Well,
if he does
there's two things to
10th
that.
grade?
One is you have to teach your kids very early that communication is with words. You have to use your words. That's something I used to tell my kids all the time. Use your words. Tell me. Don't try to show me by crying or throwing a fit or yelling or hitting. Tell me with your words. And the second part of that is it goes into a whole line of bullying. Bullying is never okay at any point, at any age. So, from the time they're toddlers, you have to be teaching kids that it's not okay to bully.
You should.
Yes.
But society as a whole doesn't, up until a certain point.
Yeah.
So, what age do you think that is?
In my mind, it's unacceptable at any age.
Well, that's because you're a very good person.
Are you saying at what age does it need to be criminalized?
Not necessarily criminalized, maybe. But just unacceptable, like you'd get in trouble for it.
Yeah, for me it's at age 0.
Okay. I think it's probably when the boys start getting bigger than the girls physically. Maybe. I don't know. I can't really remember what age. But I'm sure there is a line that's socially acceptable. Yeah. Not so much now. We're all doing much better.
Yeah.
At smashing the patriarchy. This has been very after school especially. And it's been great.
The more you know.
I was going to download that and put it right there. I will. I'll put the music under you. Okay.
And knowing is half the battle.
But it's true. Okay. Claudia, she comes home after this horrible talk with Christy. And she just calls hello to her family. Like, she didn't just have the police show up.
Right.
Her sitting job. But Janine, she did see them, though. And they kind of bond over Janine not snitching. And they learn they each have secret candy stashes. And it's actually a really nice moment. And Claudia tells her, I was going to tell them in a little bit. And that makes sense. She wanted to, settle, I guess. Get it all right in her head before
decompress.
Yeah, decompress. So Claudia decides she's really happy for Christy, but she realizes later on that if Alan was calling Christy, he wasn't calling her too. So who was? No! She gets her answer the next day when she's sitting at the Marshalls. She gets a phone call, and of course there's nothing but silence. But she begs the caller to speak. And he finally does, and guess what? It's Trevor Sanborn. He asked Alan
Old Jello pants.
Old Jello pants, Trevor. He asked Alan to get all of Claudia's sitting information for him, too, so he could ask her to the dance. But he was too shy because he's a poet and he's sensitive. Apparently, he gets to be shy and quiet and mysterious. Have this whole aura, but Marianne doesn't. Anyway, so now he and Claudia have a date for the dance. Trevor says that Alan phoned him and said, I better straighten things out with you. No matter how how hard it is for me. I know he was going to say shy, but I absolutely read it no matter how shitty it would be for me, which is kind of exciting. So it all goes well. There's nothing worth for a fashion alert for the dance, which is really disappointing. Stacy and Claudia wear baggy jeans and new bulky sweaters. Christy wears a plaid jumper and a red turtleneck.
And Alan doesn't seem to mind.
And the phantom phone caller gets arrested for real, and Marianne's allowed to sit again. Yahoo!
Although the people who robbed him next door, the phantom phone caller said he's never been anywhere.
So it was a copycat.
So that is still left out in the wind.
Yeah. But Richard doesn't care about the copycat, I
guess.
Or any other crimes to ever happen.
Right.
Yeah. He's pretty terrible.
Too busy organizing a saw.
You know what? It's important. At this point, who's your favorite sitter?
Claudia.
For sure?
Yeah.
Least favorite?
I don't know. Maybe Stacy?
Really? Fucking Stacy.
I don't remember hers that well.
Yeah.
Which one was hers?
Which one was hers?
Uh-huh.
You mean which job?
Yeah.
With Charlotte.
Charlotte's Web?
What?
Charlotte Johansson?
Yes. Yes, with the dog abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the next Babysitter's Club is a Stacy book, so you'll get to know her better.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yahoo. But, yeah. I guess that's all I got. Got anything else for this book? Except for how much you hated it.
It was torture reading, but, I got through it.
You got through it bravely in one day. Even though you did lots of breaks for things you didn't want to do, like pick up dog poop in the backyard.
I spent a lot of time instead of reading this book.
But you powered through, and we're all appreciative of it. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
How exciting! I just now checked. Earlier today, we were not on iTunes, but now we are. So you should be able to find us and subscribe shortly on any of your podcatchers or anything. Yay! I'm so excited. And you can rate and subscribe on iTunes now. So please do so. And share it, y'all. We started sharing it last week on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And so if you guys would share, a couple of our friends already have, and thank you for that. But yeah, if everyone else would too, that would be awesome. And check out our website at fightingoverthecardcatalog.com. Find us on the Facebook and Instagram at Fighting Over the Card Catalog, and at Twitter on Card Catalog Pod. And email us if you'd like at fightingoverthecardcatalog@gmail.com. Oh, yeah. If you guys want to give us your interpretation of the fashion alert and what you think Claudia's dope ass look like, yeah, put them up on our Facebook or tweet them at us. That would be really exciting, and I would love to see what you guys think she looks like. So our next book is probably, I still have to work on figuring out exactly, but I want to do a choose your own adventure book. But I think copyright wise, we can't just read from the book the entire thing.
Yeah, so maybe we do. Okay, so there's two ways of doing it.
Uh-huh.
You can read through and go until you die, and that be it. die or finish the book,
Well, yeah.
and that be it. Or we could say what our first read through, kind of give what our first read through was.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, what I used to do when I was a kid is I would read the different choices. So I would, like, make one choice, and
Go
then
back.
I'd hold that place and read through. And then, yeah, well, I basically read the same book just, like, several times.
Yeah.
So you could give what your initial read through was, and then give what your final best read through was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I was trying to think of a way to do it so you didn't have to read, since we won't be home this weekend.
Well, I mean, you could just have me do it until I die, or get through.
True. I was also thinking I could try to summarize in my own words the pages and, like, read it to you, and we go through the adventure on the pod.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, but I'd have to summarize all those pages.
Yeah.
So I might. So we'll see. But either way, next week will be a choose your own adventure of some sort. We have yet to choose our adventure.
Yeah, and we know choose your own adventure is litigious because
they sued Netflix.
Netflix over Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah. So yeah. So we'll see you next week, and we'll have all sorts of adventures. We're rereading the books of your childhood.
So you don't have to.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.